Picture this, alright? You're walking through a vast valley when all of a sudden you see it. A living, breathing dinosaur right before your very eyes. Well, maybe that's a bit far-fetched, but what's not far-fetched is getting to visit where movie magic is made. We're heading out west to the beautiful island of Hawaii, to the one and only Kuoloa Ranch, for our very own tour to see where the original Jurassic Park film and its sequels were made for our enjoyment. So hold on to your butts for this very special episode of ParkTwister. Now what you are about to see is from our very own tour of Kuoloa Ranch in Hawaii. This tour is honestly insane for any movie lovers such as myself. The ranch is basically the centerpiece for tons of movies, such as Jurassic Park, Kong's Skull Island, and so many more. This is the real deal when it comes to Hollywood and how films are made. Now we did the tour back in May, so I guess better late than never, I guess. I'm going to give you the rundown of how much it cost, our overall opinions of the experience itself, and just, show step by step what the tour entails in case you are, planning a trip out there to go see it for yourself. Now, to start things off, depending when you go, you might want to book ahead. Planning is key here because they do sell out most days. I can't remember what day exactly we went. I think it was a weekday, like middle of the week. So obviously they're going to be less busy. And it was a little bit, towards the early May time. So if you come later May, June, July, like summer crowds, they're obviously going to be selling out in advance. So definitely plan ahead. With that being said, they do allow walk-up reservations, or at least they did when we went. We saw people buying their tickets in person at the ticket window, but depending when you go, that might be no bueno. You might not want to go that route, like I just said. So planning ahead, definitely a key point here. Now pricing, there are loads of unique tours at the ranch, both movie and nature inspired. The Jurassic Adventure Tour, however, is currently priced at $145 for adults on the website. It could fluctuate depending on what day you go though. Children under 3 are not permitted on this tour, just thought I'd point that out. I mean, not sure why you would want to bring a child or at least a young infant on this tour. It is pretty rugged. You do go over some rocky roads. There is a bit of walking involved. So maybe bringing a small child will not be the best decision. It's a very good tour. If you love the Jurassic franchise and are just, a lover for anything movies or dinosaurs, you're gonna have a phenomenal time, no doubt about it. It literally, I was getting goosebumps through part of this tour. I wish I was kidding, but I'm not. It's that good. The tour does run roughly about 2.5 hours from the minute you leave camp, so be sure to use the restroom wisely before heading out, because it's just you and Mother Nature for that whole time. It is a very beautiful tour. You don't just see where Steven Spielberg's cinematic masterpiece was filmed, you also get to see a lot of the island as well, parts that you won't get to see unless you do the tour. Our guide even made it super fun along the way. He was super energetic. I loved him. I wish I could remember his name to give him a shout out because he was fantastic.
As long as that sound fades, we'll be okay. Sorry, I apologize. We're gonna have to take a little bit of a detour. I hope you didn't see anything weird. I know we heard stuff, but...
He clearly was a local who had a true passion for these movies, and he made it like we were on an actual adventure through Jurassic Park. Gotta love that. Gotta appreciate that. And now I did want to give a huge shout out to our guide because he did gift me this. It's a Jurassic World T-Rex Kingdom button. Not everyone else on the tour got one. So super cool that he was able to do this for me, something special, because he saw how much I adored Jurassic Park and knew my fun facts. So definitely thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Alright, so let's start going. You start off climbing the cliffside where you'll get a gorgeous view of the coastline. But first, however, you'll come to a well-known filming location from 2015's Jurassic World. No, not the iconic arches. Instead, the gates that the two kids come across when trying to evade a flock of flying pteranodons when trying to get back to safety.
Right out the gate we have a scene. Now, you guys may recognize it if you're a full fan like I am. I literally just watched this movie last night. My son loves all of the things Jurassic. He comes on my tour every now and then. Loves it. But anyway, so, where's the line? 1992 Jeep Wrangler Sahara, sand beige, is what Gray says when he finds that old school Jeep from Jurassic Park in the visitor center after him and his brother escaped the Indominus Rex, at least for the time being in the movie. So they grab the Jeep, they kind of get it to work again.
Following, you'll come to an actual World War II bunker, which was used in the making of some of Hollywood's best, such as Pearl Harbor. The cool part is they actually allow you to get out and walk around. This is cool and all, but not the highlight of the tour. That is yet to come, so let's keep on going. So we hopped back inside of our tour vehicle and headed to what is famously known as Jurassic Valley by locals. This location was the filming site for the original Jurassic Park, when Dr. Grant and the kids are rushing away from some galloping Gallimimus right before a bloodthirsty T-Rex shows up. How stinking cool. This is what it's all about. They actually have the log that the kids and Dr. Grant hide behind in the movie. Oh my gosh. Albeit it may not be as large as it was in the movie, being, in nature out in the open all this time, but still very prominent. To me, this would be the most memorable part of the tour, but that is still to come. After driving some more, however, we headed up higher to an old wedding pavilion. At first glance, there may not be any features that make it stand out until you realize that it was used as the centerpiece for the gyrosphere ride in Jurassic World. As soon as our guide told us that, I couldn't stop connecting the dots here and there, where that shot looked there, where that shot looked here. I was instantly in the movie. At least that's how I felt. Which, anybody who does this tour should feel that way. As a big movie fan and Jurassic fan, this is so surreal to see. The tour didn't end here, however. We arrived to the bunker that was used in Fallen Kingdom. This was cool to see despite not being my favorite entry in the series. The movie, however. Our guide explained that this scene, they did have to basically strike down the set and rebuild it 3 different times just to get it right. With Mount Siebel, the massive volcano that erupts in the movie, the angle wasn't correct.
So what happens is Claire and Franklin actually do wind up escaping the bunker. So this was just the entrance. When the ATVs kind of move along, I'll show you the front of it. When they're on the barge, all the dinosaurs, after they get them off Isla Nublar, they were put into these containers. But anyway, here's the exterior of that bunker we call the Baryonyx bunker. Just quick scenes filmed up here. So this is going to be replicated down at the bottom at our next stop. They actually built the one at the bottom first when they were filming. They did not like the angle of Mount Siebel behind the bunker, because what happens is in the shots they're kind of like looking at the volcano at the same time, so they like this better. That's why Mount Siebel moved from the peak you see in front of us to also the peak on the right. As I mentioned earlier, it's kind of 2 peaks.
And so they basically just, this was the one that they used in the film, but then we stopped at another bunker almost identical to it, a little smaller in size, which was one of the other ones that they built but didn't end up using, that they left for the tour to use. And this time we actually got to stop and walk around for a bit, which was pretty cool. And they did have some cages out with some fake dinosaurs in them. The cages, not the dinosaurs, but the cages, I believe were used as props in the movie, so that was pretty cool to see. Now, something I did want to add before continuing on is that since this is very much a ranch, it acts sort of like a nature preserve. There are a lot, and I do mean a lot, of cattle roaming around freely, so it's not just dinosaurs you might want to look out for. As we ventured farther away from the ranch and into the wooded areas, our guide did explain the helicopter scenes with Simon Mizrahi were shot in the plain near the mountain peaks, as well as the location of the helipad they take off from in the movie. Just a cool little film location, not super well known, but the second you know about it, you just can't stop connecting those dots. Now guys, everything leading up to this moment was just a small teaser, because the tour went out with a bang. It had quite the grand finale.
Oh my goodness gracious, you know what, I don't trust this area, it's kind of shaky. So, sorry, I apologize, we're gonna have to take a little bit of a detour. I hope you didn't see anything weird. I know we heard stuff, but... Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I hope you like my transition into the last stop of the tour. This is probably one of my favorite locations on the entire ranch. Welcome to the Indominus Rex paddock from Jurassic World.
As we rounded the corner, emerging from behind the trees, there it was. Welcome to Jurassic World. The actual film used Indominus Rex paddock in all its glory. You guys have no idea how thrilled I was to see this in person. I knew I would be almost on the verge of tears, but I had to hold my breath at the scale of it. Sure, there were some things that relied on some camera trickery. Okay, like one wall was missing, you don't see that in the movie. But it still overall impressed me how much was actually done in camera. Very little of it was CGI, which you don't get a lot in today's movies. And I always, a movie like Jurassic World, as big as it is, very heavily relied on CGI, something the original Jurassic Park did not. One of the main criticisms it got when it released. But seeing, the sets, a lot of it was very much real, especially with the Indominus Rex, which I honestly did not expect to get. I mean, the claw marks are still there on one wall. Granted, have more than likely been repainted for the tours since filming took place. I mean, to think about it, the movie released in 2015, meaning they would have had to film everything back in 2014. That is 10 years ago. Thinking about it like that, it's really impressive how they've been able to maintain this setting out here in nature in the middle of practically nowhere. The tours and the people who run Kuoloa Ranch definitely have a passion for filmmaking. To get even better, they actually let us walk around, even giving us full permission to go inside of the viewing area where Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard stood. We even tried to recreate some of these scenes. Just probably came out cringier and funnier looking than we intended, but hey, we're just having, a good old time out there in Jurassic World. Getting to literally stand here was honestly amazing and worth the price of admission alone. But unfortunately, it was time to go. We made our way back to the island and back to the ranch, where we ended our Jurassic adventure. This tour was everything we had hoped it to be. If you're willing to make the trip out to Honolulu, Hawaii, definitely don't sleep on it. You will not be disappointed. I think this is one of the best trips I've ever taken, and also kind of nice to venture outside of the theme park bubble for a little bit. And yes, I registered that it's not cheap. You do have to also worry about plane tickets, hotel tickets, and then, you know, renting a car. So altogether, it's not gonna come out to like, you know, a cheap price. Obviously, it's a vacation to paradise. Like, you gotta consider that. But where else do you actually get to feel like you're in the movies? Universal? Sure. Universal is great in its own way. This is a theme park channel. We go to Universal weekly to basically cover everything new. We go to Disney a lot. We're not trying to talk down to the theme parks. They do a spectacular job of making you feel like you are in the movies. But there's something different about actually being at the place where these things were filmed. Especially on a tropical island like Hawaii. You just can't get that in Florida. That alone should tell you that this tour literally had me in tears. I was just like in awe the entire time. Guys, head out to Kuoloa Ranch and try the Jurassic Adventure Tour or one of their other tours, because if we had more time, I would have liked to do the ATV tour. That looked fun. You actually get to drive on your own, with a guide, of course, one of those four-wheelers. So maybe if we go back, we could try that one. Well, folks, that's our show. I hope you enjoyed having fun with me as we explored the real-life Jurassic Park. If you're new around, be sure to subscribe down below. Maybe we can make more videos like this in the future. I really enjoyed this kind of video. It's a little different than the typical video that I'm, accustomed to making. But guys, that's gonna do it from here today. Thanks for joining us, and I will see you on the next one.